spectators up on the cliffs overlooking this venue here on Konialti Beach, where we get set for the men. And it's the bronze medal match. And this is an interesting matchup from the standpoint that it was only weeks in the making. Not months, not years, but weeks in the making, because just 3 weeks ago in Shanghai, Martin Damsbo was facing Braden Gellenthien in the gold medal match, and Braden came out on top in that meeting. In fact, in head-to-head matchups, they're even Steven at 1-1. Now, what are the chances that 3 weeks later you're going to get another shot at a guy in a medal match? You could go the rest of your life and never see that guy again in a medal match, conceivably.
You could, and it's weird because when you get to the medal matches, usually though it's a lot of the same people. You know, I mean, if you look, the top 5 was 3 of the top 3 from Shanghai. You know, and so a lot of the top shooters get to meet each other. I mean, I met Braden this week. You know, and so there's a lot of the same over and over and over again. You know your competitors.
Well, this will be great. They were shooting for gold in China. Here today, they're shooting for bronze, and there's Jake Kaminsky.
And Braden has a different bow than he had this morning.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's a gold one. He shot a different one this morning, so we'll see if that's any, and a different one than he's been shooting. I mean, he won our World Championship trials a few weeks ago, and
so a great matchup. Martin Damsbo of Denmark, who already has a gold medal from this morning, as the Danes were able to defeat the United States in the men's gold medal match team event. And Damsbo shooting first, starts off strong again.
Yeah.
They've both been out here. And there is that gold bow you were talking about. Not happy after he released it.
Yeah, I'm sure not. He actually even looks like he's shooting a different release this afternoon, too.
So here's Damsbo, who was sent into this bronze medal match after losing to his teammate Patrick Larson in the semifinals. Larson was perfect, shooting 150. And right now, Martin Damsbo's working on a perfect match. Gellenthien, dead center, and a different reaction.
Yeah, a little bit of good English there, as we say.
So Braden Gellenthien keeping his spirits up.
Yeah, yeah.
Not the start he was hoping for, but you know, I admire that. I mean, you fall behind, you know you didn't shoot the shots you wanted to shoot, and yet, you know, keeping a good attitude about it, enjoying the moment.
Yep. I almost would say, by the looks of it, that could be Martin Damsbo's bow.
So what you're telling me is that he's shooting with his competitor's bow?
His backup bow. I'm not positive on that, but by the looks of it, the setups are different. I mean, you look at the grip tapes are similar, sights are very similar. So just as a guess, I'm going to say that's why he's not so wound up. I don't know if he found something was wrong with his bow after this morning, but maybe that's what we're looking at.
I'm going to have you investigate this.
All right.
I want to find out more. So there's the score, 30-27 after the first end, the first 3 arrows. So Damsbo trying to get a little bit of payback after losing to Braden in Shanghai. Leading by 3 as we start the second end.
Great shot.
Braden getting accustomed to that bow.
That's 4 in a row for Martin.
And Damsbo on a roll.
Yeah, just keeps rolling. He's been shooting good. The guys at home said that he shot a bunch of 710s and been frustrated during qualifications that he just keeps shooting 710, which is a great score.
9-8 liner, and honestly, it looks like it's out. 9.
So for the first time today, in this match, at least, Damsbo outside the center ring.
Couldn't get enough English to get it in there that time.
Tried to work it, though, didn't he?
Another 8 out the downward side.
And right now, it's not working for Braden Gellenthien.
Yeah, and you can tell it's still not frustrating, so there's got to be something there that I don't know what it is.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5. X, that's enough.
Back on target, Martin Damsbo. Focused and dialed in right now, and Damsbo jumping out to a lead, and right now Braden's calling somebody a lifeline.
Yeah, maybe.
It could be you.
Yeah, I don't think so.
He could be calling you for a lifeline.
Yeah, I don't think so. Not a lot of help I got there.
Oh boy, wasn't it in the World Cup finals in Tokyo he had to use another bow? I think he did. In fact, story I heard was it was his girlfriend's bow, wasn't it?
He did use his girlfriend's bow. I remember
That's right.
That. Yep.
Yeah. So this is not the first time this has happened to Braden Gellenthien, who seems to be taking it in stride with a sense of humor.
Yeah, and usually Braden's a super competitor, so there has to be something that's gone on that's allowed him to be a little more relaxed, and something he's not, you know, is putting as much pressure on himself, because he is a super competitor, and I mean a great shot. He's been on a pretty good roll lately.
Good shot of Brady Ellison peering over the fence, watching this bronze medal match between Martin Damsbo and Braden Gellenthien. Braden, of course, the defending World Cup titleist after winning in Tokyo, but this apparently is not his day.
No, and he's gone to even a different release again. So.
However, it does appear to be Martin Damsbo's day.
Yeah, he's shooting very strong.
Damsbo won a pair of gold medals at Stage 2 in Antalya back in 2010, so he's had success here on Kontiolahti Beach in the past, and sometimes all you can do is laugh.
Yep. You know, equipment goes a lot, and you never know what happens to it. You don't know what's going on, and there's nothing more frustrating than to have something you're not sure about, you haven't trusted as much, and we get a lot of us have one bow that we just live with, and we carry a backup, but you're never sure what it'll do compared to, you know, we spend so much time with the one, we don't have a lot of time to spend on the second or a third or anything like that. So.
You always hear about in baseball, a player has his favorite glove, he's got his favorite bat, golf, guys have their clubs.
Yeah, and you feel comfort. I mean, just like Michael Jordan used to wear his North Carolina shorts under his basketball shorts. You know, there's things that we all do that are silly and different that they give us a comfort factor. So
if you were to pick up a bow that you had never used before, it would be really difficult for you to adjust to that on the fly. And I think that's what we're seeing with Braden right now, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I really do. I can't confirm that for sure, but I would say that's the situation by the looks of it. And by the looks of it, like say, there's a weight that the guy in Denmark makes that is on the right side of that bow that Braden's using. So I'm going to go on a limb and say it's probably Martin's bow. But that's a great part of archery. I mean, we got competitors that are willing to loan their equipment to another guy. You know, I mean, there are some out there that aren't
as willing.
Yes, but for the most part, most of the guys that we compete with would hand you their backup bow if they thought it would help you.
9 points just out of
that is a great part of this sport. And Braden with a 9. Braden was trailing 88-80 after the third end.
9 points.
Martin Damsbo very focused.
There's a 10.
And a bullseye for Braden.
Okay, we've got a 10 down there. Found out some interesting information that I think puts even a better spin on what's going on here. This is a 9. What you don't know is that Braden Gellenthien
So Damsbo with a bit of a cushion to work with.
is shooting Martin.
And now Braden's starting to get a little bit more adjusted to that bow.
15.
And I think I just heard George say the same thing we've been talking about from the get-go.
7, 6,
And there's
Godt arbejde.
Damsbo shooting very, very well.
Yeah, and like I said, Martin has been.
Yeah, you can't take that away from him.
No, I don't care what somebody else is shooting or what else is going on. You know, even if Braden has his bow, it's definitely a solid match. I mean, we're talking, he shot really good in that wind.
And talk about
One of the more unusual situations we've seen in World Cup competition, but
These guys deserve some respect. Let's hear it, ladies and gentlemen.
Martin Damsbo trying to pick up this bronze medal and also pick up some World Cup points. Leads by 8 after 4 ends, which in this event, this sport, a huge lead.
A huge lead, yeah. Even with the win. In our division, that kind of lead, you pretty much are just, you know, gonna stand up there and say, well, let's just put some good arrows down there and we'll finish off good.
Live to fight another day.
Yeah.
And I think that Braden realized that early on.
Yep. He knew when he fired his first arrow. I don't know what. I'd kind of seen him over on the practice range with it, so I had a hint that something was going on, but I wasn't sure. So, but it's tough. Like I say, anytime you get a something else that's not yours, it either works really well or it doesn't. Yeah. You get the honeymoon stage sometimes, where things are all flowers and great.
And then there's that other side of the coin.
Yep. Yeah. Reality sets in.
Yeah. For me, it's like wearing a left-handed baseball glove.
5.
Yeah.
9.
9 lige ud til venstre.
So Martin Damsbo appears to be headed for the bronze medal. Of course, Reo WILDE won the bronze in Shanghai last month, defeating Dave Cousins.
5.
Yeah,
You finished up with 3 straight 10s that day.
Yeah, that was a tough match. You know, I mean, Dave and I have shot against each other for a long time, and we know each other very well. And you know what the other one's capable of. In fact, we faced each other World Championship semifinals, and it was kind of funny. We both actually shot 114s, which are horrible scores to tie and go to a 1-arrow shoot-off. But you know, you got them nerves of everything else, and I think that you just push each other enough that it's just gonna be a little tighter. So it was good to come away from the victory.
So it's over a 7-point win for Martin Damsbo. One of the more unusual situations, but Damsbo shooting 144 points, only left 6 points out there.
Yeah.
So just looking at his own performance, he performed well, and good sportsmanship right there. Two good guys going at it.
Great story there.
Yeah, like I said, it goes back to the fact of, you know, it's a great sport when guys are willing to hand the other guy their equipment just so they can finish instead of just saying, hey, no, you know.
A great one.
So Martin Damsbo capping off a very good day for the Great Dane. Gold medal this morning in team competition, bronze medal this afternoon in the individual competition. And Damsbo wins it 144 to 137.